Today we are going to talk about an adventure which is super exciting but at the same time a little daunting, and that is traveling long haul with a baby. So last month, my baby and I traveled from Manila to France in a long-haul red-eye flight. And from France, we traveled around by car. And then after several days, we traveled to Italy via train. So basically, for 2 weeks, my baby traveled 4 countries. Can you imagine how that went? Well, I'm gonna give you tips and tricks how to make traveling with a baby extra comfortable for you and your baby. First, when booking a flight, try to align the flight schedule with your baby's sleeping schedule. Overnight flights or those flights that aligns with baby's nap time are really great because it increases the chance of your baby getting that snooze time and you getting some rest. Now, here's a pro tip. If your baby is below 10 kilos, you can actually ask the airline for bassinet and they will put you in the seat that is right in front of all the rows where you can have bigger leg room, a little bit more space, and a bassinet where your baby actually lay down. So in terms of looking for the airline, I suggest that you get the quickest flight possible. So for me, what works is the Emirates flight EK335 from Manila to Dubai, which is about 7-8 hours. And it leaves Manila at about 12 midnight. So by that time, actually, my baby would already be sleeping while we are waiting at the lounge. So that's fine with me. And then from Dubai, we get to rest a little bit in the lounge. We get to eat there, change and freshen her up, make her play, tire her in the airport actually. And then from Dubai, we fly again to Lyon for about 6 hours. So by that time, pagod na siya, ready na siyang mag-nap. So sometimes she takes a nap for 3 hours. And from Dubai to France, it only takes about 6 hours. So at least half of the flight, tulog siya. Now, let's talk about what your baby can wear. So, it is very important that baby's clothing is comfortable, cotton, breathable because the weather changes and the temperature changes from the airport into the airplane into another country. Like, for example, from Manila to Dubai. Of course, it's both hot, but sometimes inside the airplane, it could be cold. But the last flight that we have last month, it was really hot inside the airplane. So when we were in Manila, she was just wearing a t-shirt and very thin pants. And I thought I would bring a small jacket for her in the airplane. But finally, I didn't have to put her a jacket because it was so hot in the flight. Kaya it was fine for me. So it's important to dress your baby in a comfortable layer. So you really have to check what are the weather between the countries that you are traveling into and adjust the clothing of baby according to the weather. You really have to plan ano yung weather, yung flow ng travel niyo, and those essential clothing has to be in her carry-on. And I will share with you all the other carry-ons that I put in my baby's backpack. But basically, what's important is, of course, her diaper changing, her food, her water, her drinks, her milk. You also have to consider yung mga toys na gagamitin niya. Bringing along some familiar items for your baby can be a lifesaver. Imagine, this is going to be a totally different scenario for her. It's not home, it's not the car, it's not the place that she's familiar with, so she can feel scared, and something that will remind her of home will be very useful. For example, if she has her doo-doo or her pet or her toy, you can bring that along so she can hug that toy whenever she feels unsafe. And don't forget to bring her own pillow and blanket. Yan. About entertainment time. Of course, part of baby's life is play. In terms of toys toys naman, look for lightweight toys that you can put in your carry-in bag, and make sure that these are not the toys that she is always playing with. So if your child has new set of toys, it is a good idea to bring these toys or put these toys inside your carry-on bag or your baby's go-to bag, so they are easy to bring out and you can give it to them. And of course, you know, babies, when they have new toys, they are excited about it. So it's going to be another lifesaver for you. And for my daughter naman, another lifesaver for me is the remote control of the video. So, di ba meron niyang remote control on the side? She likes to play with the remote control. So, medyo bantayan mo lang na hindi niya laging pinipress yung call attendant button. But having her own screen in front of her and her own video is really something that makes both of you comfortable in the flight. Now, remember to have breaks as well, because especially in long-haul flights, you are seated for a very long time. Usually, people naman are very lenient when there are babies walking around. In my personal experience, they don't really get bothered. Well, at least in the flights that I've been to. And sometimes they smile at your baby. So my baby was able to walk around the aisle, but I don't let her go by herself. I follow her and I make sure that it is safe to walk around, no? During the time that kalma na, there is no food being served, so there is no risk of her hitting anything. Well, there is also no risk for her to be spilled with coffee or hot tea and those things. So again, don't hesitate to get up and walk in the aisle for a few times. No, especially if your baby likes to see other babies, it would be nice for her to see other companions so she can relate. And what helps me with my baby is when she see other children that are behaved, I tell them, oh, look at them, they are behaved. So she tries to copy the good things as well. And what's so fun is that when she hears baby cry, she gets so concerned and she's like, Mama, baby crying, and she feels she hugs me when it happens. So, at least it's a little bit comforting na hindi siya gumagaya ng pag-iyak. Now, the dreaded pressure change, which we know can cause pain in the ear. What do you do with that? So, the first flight, I really prepared for it, well, because I'm still breastfeeding. So, I made sure that before the flight or 3 hours before the flight, I did not allow her to breastfeed on me so that I can do timing. Now, when we are flying, she would breastfeed on me, and that is good for her because swallowing can release the pressure from the ear. So that is one way to avoid your baby from getting the ear pain and making her cry or making her scared during the flight, no, or the takeoff. Now, if you're not breastfeeding, of course, a bottle of milk or the pacifier will do. So make sure that you always have that on hand. Now, if you can afford, you can also try to buy a noise-canceling earphone for your baby, which she can use during the takeoff and the landing. But in my case, Emirates actually have earphones or headsets for baby. So they gave me the headset prior to the takeoff. And another tip for the takeoff, the airline will give you an extension seat belt for your baby. So, pag upo pa lang ninyo, make sure to practice the seat belt with your baby para kapag actual flight na, wala nang resistance. So I did that. As soon as we sat down, we practiced putting on the baby seat belt. So I said, Mama seat belt, baby seat belt, Mama seat belt, Lilo seat belt. So when it was time to actually take off, hassle-free na yung paglalagay ng baby seat belt. And finally, stay calm and relax. I would suggest that isipin mo na yung buong flight, i-meditate mo na yung buong flight, and what are the possibilities that you may encounter, and be prepared for it so that there is no panic mode on the flight itself. No? So, of course, it is you who knows your baby well, and try to adjust or prepare based on the mood, on the likes, on the whims of your baby. And make sure to remember yung feeding time niya, yung sleeping time niya, regardless of the changes in time zone, so that she can keep her cool during the flight. In the next video, we will talk about how to manage the change in time zone and change in environment for your baby after a long-haul flight. But remember that it is important that you are calm and relaxed during the flight because babies are very sensitive. They can feel your stress, they can feel your emotions, and it can affect them very much. So if you are stressed, of course baby will be stressed, and if they get stressed, they will cry, which you don't want to happen in an airline. I have a friend na nagpack pa ng mga chocolates and letters to apologize to other passengers in the event that her baby would cry. Ako, I did not do that because I think everybody there are adults naman, and we've been child at least of course, we've been children in our lives, and I assume that they understand that it is hard enough to have a baby in the flight, and I just expect people to be more kind and expect humanity all over. And I guess I use the law of attraction, and in all my flights, everything has been calm and relaxed. So remember that every baby is different, so adapt these tips to suit your baby's needs and preferences. Remember that with some preparation and patience and planning, you can have a successful and enjoyable long-haul flight. So just to summarize, number 1, choose the right flight and airline for you. Book the bassinet seat, or at least request for an empty space beside you. Pack essential stuff in your carry-on bag. Dress your baby comfortably. Bring familiar items and keep your baby entertained. Take a break and move around the aisles of the airplane, and especially in the airport. Use noise-canceling headsets if necessary. Be mindful of the pressure changes and prepare for that. And finally, stay calm and relaxed. Remember that every baby is different, so adapt these tips according to your baby's needs and preferences. With some preparation and patience, you can have a successful and enjoyable long-haul flight with your little one. So enjoy your trip and have a safe travel! Did you like these kinds of videos? Subscribe to my channel, and we will talk about how to manage the mood swings after the time zone changes for your baby soon. See you!